Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Bob, Southwest Michigan Sales LLC. Glad to have you folks back. Gonna be outside today, just taking a walk, exercising, so and kind of talking to you guys about kind of what's been going on with the site and why I'm so stressed out, and just things are just, when you're a small business owner, there's always changes, there's always things happening, and I wanted to discuss some of those changes and what's going on right now. So I've got close to 3,500 items listed right now on my website, and anybody that watches my site or goes to my site fairly often may have noticed the last few months at least my amount of listing that I've been actually adding new inventory has been slowing down. And the reason that it's been slowing down is because I'm working a lot on the back end of the site itself. So one of the things that I knew was coming for a little while is the post office and a lot of your shipping companies, they use what's called harmonized system codes for international shipments. And right now my site is not really set up great for that. A lot of those codes are not in. I'd say maybe 25% of the items have the codes. So if I do get an order that's international, what I have to do is I actually have to go in and do some things behind the scene, put that code in and kind of resubmit the order, and that way the item can go out and the system recognizes what that item is and what the code is for that product and where the product was made, and so on and so on. So that's taking a lot of work. Also too, within the last, I don't know, 8 months to a year, time flies I guess when you're having fun, is I have my site hosted on BigCommerce. They rebranded to Commerce now, and when they did that, they started some like side businesses as well. And one of the things they did is they created a company called Feedonomics, and that has to do with my Google shopping, and it's a mess. I mean, I knew in my Google ads that some of the products were in the wrong category because I had seen it, but I didn't think it was to the extent that it is. And it's a disaster. It's creating me a lot of headaches. It's stressing me out beyond belief. I will put a screenshot someplace, probably on one side of my head here while I'm talking, showing you guys how many errors that it's showing in the Feedonomics software. I've got over 1,600 and some products, folks, and what it's doing is it's driving me nuts. I've already spoke to the BigCommerce support. They said there's an update supposed to be coming, I guess, in the next few months. I don't think it's going to fix the issues I have now, but hopefully it's going to fix maybe when I do list products. But what it's doing is it's classifying a lot of my products as apparel and accessories, and what that does is it automatically flags the product in Google, and it does not show the product, or in some instances it might limit the exposure of the product. So it's killing my business in essence is what it's doing. So I've got 1,600 and some items. Almost, I'd say 80 to 90% of the time, whenever I list a VHS movie, for instance, it's putting it automatically in apparel and accessories. The same thing is doing it on DVDs. It's fairly accurate on video games, I've noticed. It's probably about 70% of the time accurate, but I've even had it put video games in apparel and accessories as well. So if it doesn't put it there, sometimes it will put it in poster and artwork. It's wacky pataki. I mean, to say it point blank, it's not good. I'm trying to go through every one of the products and change that categorization. I've started with, if you guys notice on my website, you'll notice there is a category, it's called Movies VHS, and there is a new category that just says Movies, and underneath that there is All Movies, and then there's DVDs, and then under that is, like, it says Action, Adventure, like so on and so on. And the same thing for DVDs. I am going through and moving all the VHS from the Movies VHS category to the Movies category, and then underneath the VHS and underneath the correct genre. So I'm sorry about the traffic here. I know you folks can't probably hear me the best, but that's what I'm doing there. But another thing I did not catch and it's really been having me stressed out. Money has been tighter than it's been for me in a long time. I've had some other tight scenarios in my life, but I'd have to say right now I'm in probably one of the tightest scenarios I've been in a long time. My sales were going okay. They weren't great, but they weren't horrible. But right now they are horrible. I am really hurting because Google ads kept showing to me that my shopping campaign, they were doing away with that. It was going to be migrating to PMAX campaigns, and it kept popping up that ad every time I would look at my analytics. And finally one day I'm like, you know what, I've had enough of seeing this ad. I just went ahead and clicked, let's update that. And when I did that, something broke, folks. I don't know what exactly, but I didn't catch it right away. I did that in April, and I started noticing my clicks and everything were dropping from Google ads, and I thought, well, maybe my ad spend had been used up. So I went in and I upped my ad spend a few dollars per day. That didn't help. And then I went in and I noticed usually my optimization score on my Google ads is around 80 to 85%. It fluctuates, but it's usually around that 80 to 85% zone is where it's at, and it dropped to 0, and it freaked me out. And I literally for like 2.5 weeks straight was working nonstop on trying to figure that out. I'm not good when it comes with Google ads and setting that up. And so what I did was I used GPT, I should say. I use my Microsoft Copilot, which I use fairly often, and then I also use Claude, which is from Anthropics, and I used all three of those AI tools to help me figure this out. It was a royal mess. One of the things was the Google feed. It was not configured correctly. I don't know how, but it was just not figured correctly. And then once I got one thing fixed, it seems like it went to the next thing, and it was counting phone calls as conversions. And I was literally getting phone calls for, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but for the stupidest things you could imagine. A couple of the calls maybe were okay, but some of them were way off tack. So I had to go in and add negative keywords because people were calling me for some things that would kind of blow your mind, but I don't even have listed on my website. I went in and had to add negative keywords. So then I went in after I did that, I got that fixed. Then I noticed that my Google ad spend was spending a lot of money in the country India. And I'm like, what the heck is this doing? I mean, my Google ad spend per click was like 4 cents. It was ridiculously low. When before I hit the stupid PMAX campaign and created that, it was normally around 50 to 70 cents per click. So I knew something was wacky. I was trying to figure that out. So I went in and created my own countries, and when I did that, then it gave me a bunch of errors. And finally, just the other day, I'm like, you know what? It said I didn't have something set up correctly, and I know from my categorization that I have over 1,600 products that are flagged right now in Google Ads with Feedonomics. So I'm like, you know what? To heck with this. I'm gonna take and I'm just gonna do US and Canada right now, and it looks like I got that fixed. I don't know why, but my ads, when I had it as the entire world, certain countries, the US, India, and a few other countries, the ads were showing like crazy. India was the worst though. I mean, I had like 75-80% of my clicks were coming from India, and I'm like, what the heck? I mean, so I went in and instantly I shut off India, and that's when I added a few countries that I wanted to advertise to, like the UK, Great Britain, I added Canada, I added Mexico, I added China, and I added Japan, because some of those countries do buy vintage and retro items, and some of that stuff I have for sale. And when I used to years ago sell on eBay, I know I would have items go to some of those countries. So I wanted to take and have those countries as being advertised to. Well, when I did that, it gave me errors. I guess I didn't have something set up in Google Merchant Center correct. So I'm like, you know what, the heck with this. I've got to take and I've got to get a lot of these products recategorized. I've got to get this set. I've got to get it saved. I've got to get it fixed. I'm like, no, I'm just going to go for US and Canada right now. I've got my optimization score back. It had dropped for a while down to around 68-70%, when all that was going on. I checked it last night again, it was back up to 85%. So it's been fluctuating. It says when I use these AIs that it could take a month and a half for the PMAX campaign to eventually figure out. And I finally have it recording the actual conversions that I'm getting for the sales. It's actually showing in my Google Merchant Center. Finally, I'm not getting many yet, but at least it's better than what it was. It's just, I have a royal disaster, folks. When I went ahead and clicked that button, I wish to God I could revert time and never push that button. But looking back as well, you got to think about something else. If I wouldn't have pushed that button, all I would have been doing is delaying the inevitable, because Google kept popping up that little ad saying that the campaign that I was currently in was going to be disabled by, I think it was June 1st, if I remember correct. Maybe it was July 1st, but I was like, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this, create it. And when I did that, it's like everything broke. I don't know. I wish I would have known in advance, because I would have never done that and went in and created the PMAX and not made it active yet. Made sure everything was set up and everything was correct, and not had literally my income shut off overnight, because my month sales for May, I am down about 80%. It has been horrible. Not only that, but I know the economy is not the best. I realize that. People are really only buying what they need. I get it. But sales should not be down as badly as what they are. But sales are starting to come back in a little bit. Nothing great, but at least. Okay, folks, you guys were just watching me taking my walk on yesterday, Tuesday, May 26th of 2026. And I screwed up. I thought I had the video recording. I'm almost positive I had it recording, and I realized that probably about half of it actually stopped recording, and I only had about half of what I was talking about. So I'm like, you know what, let's just go ahead and redo this. It didn't make sense where I came back to the video and actually showed that I was recording. I'm like, let's just go ahead and do this. But anyway, I was talking about how my sales were not the best. It's starting to come back, like I stated just before that video, that first clip ended. But something else that I also noticed is my site links for my website, the how Google crawls my website, that had also been disabled recently. I don't know how. I went in to get that done. Then I come across the realization that there were several pages that were not being indexed. For instance, like brands, let's just say any brand you can think of, folks, like Nike, Adidas, MGM for movies. There's just a bunch of brands out there. But anyway, it was not indexing those pages because I did not have the meta keywords. I didn't have the search keywords. I didn't have the meta description in there. So what I've been doing now is the products that I have been editing and putting those HS or harmonized system codes in for the shipping that I was talking about at first. And then also doing the updates as far as the categorization. I've been going in and adding that information to the brands as well, trying to get that fixed as well. So that's a lot of the biggest reasons why you're not seeing me listing as much or as many items as what I have been listing. Also too, I would strongly recommend you guys to start following me on Facebook, Southwest Michigan Sales LLC on Facebook. I'm going to start posting a lot more on there. I don't know how much. I'm going to try once every 2 to 3 days at a minimum. I know right now it's been about once every week and a half or so. There was a couple times I was doing a post like once every day for like 3 days and then I'd knock off. It's hard when you're trying to multitask as much as I'm trying to multitask. There's a lot of nights where I'm literally getting sometimes 4 hours, 5 hours of sleep. Last night was the first night in quite a while. I think I slept about 8.5 hours. I'm like, you know what, I need some rest. Like I stated, sales are starting to come back a little bit, but by far they're still down significant. The last time I looked at my numbers, I think right now I'm down right around 60%, 55 to 60%. Not as bad as 80% when I first said in this video, but it's definitely not good. It's could be a heck of a lot better. So The biggest thing that's causing that, from what I can see, is when I chose to enact or enable my Performance Max campaign for shopping. My traffic literally shut off, it felt like, overnight. So if you happen to have a small e-commerce business, be wary of that, folks. Be careful. I'm thankful that I do not 100% rely on my website. It was quite a bit of my income. I still did have a few. It's not much. People contact me through my personal profile on Facebook. I do have all my items listed there as well. I literally just had a lady inquire on a game controller. I don't know if she's going to order it with shipping. And then I had someone locally also buy my last sensor bar for my Nintendo Wii and a AC hookup for the Wii, which came to $13 plus tax. They met me locally, so I had that. And then I also did have some Mercari sales that were coming in, but by far my biggest income most months is my website. It's what I depend on. It's my living. So that's why I guess it's not always a good idea to have all of your eggs in one basket, as to say. So I hope you guys find this information informational, knowledgeable. I know I probably rattled on a bit in this video on different topics and subjects. There's going to be a lot more different things. I'm going to probably show a video or a short clip on my Instagram or on Facebook coming up as well, showing some of the VHS as I do them. It generally takes me about 2 to 3 days to update a tub, which is approximately 30 to 40 items. Most tubs, to get all that harmonized system codes, to get the brands updated, and just everything. What I've done also too is I've made a Microsoft Word document, and I went in and started putting those brands in there so I know which ones I have done. Yes, I could go in and look, but I feel like it's a little bit quicker if I have that Word document. Once I get a lot more done, I'm probably planning on printing it out or maybe making an Excel form. I'm not sure. I just haven't made my decision as far as that, to get that done and taken care of. But if you've ever heard of someone that has multiple fires going at one time, I'm definitely that person. I have multiple things going, just trying to survive, just like everyone else, just trying to pay the bills. And I just want to say I greatly appreciate every one of you guys that do follow along on my journey, and I do plan on sharing more in the future. But I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this video. There were some other things I did talk about that I didn't record. I think I'm going to leave that for another video coming up in the future. But thank you guys for watching. Until the next time, peace out.